Hi friend, welcome back. So today is going to be part 2 of how to buy your first house. So if you missed part 1, you're probably going to want to see it. It's full of information that is really going to help you succeed in real estate as a beginner and avoid common pitfalls. But as a quick recap, I got into real estate when I was 24 years old with my first house. I was single, I was only making $16 an hour, and I would 10 out of 10 recommend. It was definitely difficult, definitely required some sacrificing, but it wasn't impossible, and it's not impossible for you. And so that's why I'm here to share this information with you. As a quick disclaimer, I also want to say that I'm not a real estate agent, I'm not a loan officer. Find a professional if you need that. Alright guys, so with that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump right into my step-by-step guide on getting started in real estate as a complete beginner. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to learn how to use a mortgage calculator. And so I'm going to grab my computer, you can grab yours. We want to make sure that we are not going to have a monthly mortgage payment that is more than 25% of our monthly take-home pay. So after taxes, all of that, whatever comes into your bank account, after 401k, whatever you have coming out on a monthly basis from your pay, then when it hits your bank account, that's your take-home pay. That's what you have to work with. We want 25% of that. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through this together. I'm going to show you on my screen how to run these numbers until you get what you're looking for. So if it sounds a little bit overwhelming to figure out, don't worry. Literally just go to Google and type in mortgage calculator. So I'm going to walk you through how you can go ahead and use this and find out how much house you can afford and everything that you need to know to get started in your house buying process. So at the top, you can see we've got monthly payment and then we've got purchase budget. We are going to start by going through the monthly payment side. So you can do this first without the taxes and fees if you want. It's obviously very simple. You've only got 3 fields here that you can put in, and then you're gonna see the monthly payment come out on the side. So that's gonna be like a really rough estimate. You'll see when I toggle this, boom. Now there's a lot more fields to enter. I do think it's good to go through a few more of these to make it a little bit more realistic if we can. I'll make sure that your correct state is selected, and then you want to make sure that you update your credit score. So if you don't have any idea, don't just assume. Go on Credit Karma or something at least. It's better than nothing. As you can see, like if we change, our state, that's going to change these numbers. If we change our credit score, it's also going to change these numbers. So anything that you do on this side is going to change this side. Okay, so now we're going to come back to this monthly payment in just a minute to actually make a plan for your home purchase. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at how to use the other side, the purchase budget side. On this side, I don't really care to do the taxes and fees. It doesn't really change much. So on this side, go ahead and enter your pre-tax yearly household income right here, and also the total of debt payments that you make per month. This will be your minimum monthly payments also. It's not like if you pay extra, you don't have to calculate that here. It's like, okay, you owe $40 a month minimum payment on your credit card, and then $100 a month on your student loans. Your total will be $140 here, but make sure that you do include all of those things: credit cards, student loans, car loans, personal loans, payday loans, anything like that. You need to include your minimum monthly payments on all of those when you make this total here. And again, make sure that you go ahead and change the state and the credit score, but everything else we can ignore for now. So we're going to come back to this, don't worry. Okay, so now that you have a little overview of how to use these two sides, I'm going to walk you through how to figure out your very own plan to buy your own house. So first, we are going to calculate our down payment. So we're going to use this calculator to determine how much down payment you want to save up for. Now, this is subjective, but you can play around with the numbers, and if you change them, that will change how much house you can afford, and it will also change, your monthly budget. On this side, you see I'm changing the down payment, and it's changing how much monthly payment I'm going to pay. So you can see how saving up a down payment can really affect your numbers and how much house you can buy and how much house you can afford on a monthly basis, even if you're low income. So step one, we're going to start on the purchase side right here and make sure that your state and credit score are there, like we said, your yearly household income before tax, your monthly debts. Make sure all of those things are here. Okay, so step two for this is you're going to enter any down payment size that you feel comfortable with. And keep in mind, like, I understand this might sound overwhelming if you're low income, but I saved up $40,000 on a low income. So don't count yourself out for this part yet. We're going to get into how to do that saving up process in a little bit. But first, try a couple numbers, see how it makes a difference. So let's say we put $10,000. We're going to take this purchase budget, we're going to copy it, and we're going to go to the monthly payment side. And we're going to paste it here in the home price. So now this will change our monthly payment, our loan. Well, we don't need to worry about these right now. This is the total monthly payment that you're going to pay. That's what you need to focus on. We have a $10,000 down payment, so we need to update that on this side too. You can see the numbers over here updated, right? So if this number is too high, so let's say you make $4,000 a month as an example, then you would want this number to be $1,000 or less. So it's too high right now, right? So what we can do is we can lower the home price. We lower the home price, this comes down. The other option that we can do is we can increase our down payment, and it also brings that down. I'm gonna say 20,000, and I'm gonna go back over here. I'm gonna put 20,000. So basically what you do is you kind of go back and forth and see how these two things will work together. One thing that I wanna note is that if you pay off your debts first, it makes a huge difference. This $140 doesn't look like much, right? But watch this number. When I delete this and I make this 0 because I paid off my debts. See how much it went up? So it really brings up your purchase budget, and also, like we said, so does this. We're gonna take this purchase budget and we're gonna bring it back over here. So if our goal is to get this number down below 1,000, we need to find a way to do that. Obviously, changing your credit score also does change the number, but getting down your debts, getting up your credit score, those things will help you to get more house. So that's going to be in the next step that we go through. But for now, we just want to take some looks at some numbers. If you think you can get your credit score to a certain amount within the next year or two, then go ahead and select that number that you think you can get your credit score up to. Otherwise, keep it on the one that you're at. These interest rates are out of control. I will not lie to you. We're gonna have to bring this home price down a little bit until we can get this payment lower than our monthly income. So there you go. You can afford a $150,000 house on these numbers that I showed. Now, like I told you, I saved up, actually it was like almost $50,000 in order to buy my house. And that is the game changer that I always talk about. If you saw part 1, I talked a lot about how to do that. They have a higher monthly payment here. The reason why it's calculating like that is because they do 36%. I wouldn't recommend doing 36%. I would definitely do between like 25 and 30, because once you buy a house at 36% debt to income ratio, that's a huge chunk of your income, and it just really puts a damper on the rest of your budget and ability to afford things that happen in the house, emergencies. That's why I did say to do 25%. So hopefully you feel comfortable playing around with these numbers now that I've explained it, and you can try different things. And again, don't worry about the down payment. We're going to get into how to do that soon. So you may be wondering why I'm talking to mainly people who are having a hard time getting started in real estate and who are low income like I was when I got started, and yet running numbers of $20,000-$30,000 for a down payment, because a lot of people would think that that's really out of reach for them. But step 3 in this process is going to be to really get serious and push hard and find ways to pile up money, cutting out a lot of stuff from your spending, or by piling up a lot of cash with side hustles and overtime. And I think that for most of us who are lower income, or for whatever reason we have less margin in our budget, we probably need to do both of those things. And that's exactly what I did when I bought my first house. So like I said in the beginning, this does require a little bit of sacrifice, but we do this for a short amount of time. We do not have to sacrifice our entire way of life for the rest of our life or for 30 years. That's not the game plan here. But for a year or two, yes, this is going to require some sacrifice. So the goal here in step 3 is to find ways to make your down payment higher. And maybe looking at it from the beginning, you might feel like those numbers are really overwhelming, $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, but it's not impossible if you really cut back your spending and increase your income with overtime, side hustles. So like we saw when we were doing the numbers on the mortgage calculator, the goal here is to get a higher down payment and also, if possible, to get your debt down, because both of those factors will enable you to get a much bigger house or more expensive house in the long run. Like we saw that when we were running the numbers on the mortgage calculator, it is totally worth it. So that's what we're doing in step 3. So when you pay more on the down payment, you will lower your monthly mortgage payment. And when you also pay off your debt, you will also lower your monthly mortgage payment, but still be able to get more house. So basically by doing hard work for a short time, you can leverage that even on a low income to be able to afford the house long term. So like for me, when I bought my house, I could only afford, like we were showing here, around $1,000 monthly payment on my normal salary. That meant that I had to work my butt off and save up tens of thousands of dollars to put towards my down payment and also pay off my debt. And by doing that, that's exactly what happened, is it allowed me to buy more house for the same monthly mortgage payment. So number 4 is that we need to make a plan. So before you start just working off your butt, like we said in number 3, I actually want you to have your plan ready. You made the calculations, you decided how much you want to save up for your down payment, you found lots of ways that you can do that, but now you need to have a plan. And you need to have an end date to your plan, because if you just start going crazy without having a plan and an end date, one of two things can happen, or both: that you either give up because it just feels so exhausting, or on the other hand, that you end up using that money for something else because it wasn't a tangible and reachable goal that you had set. So when we put an end date to our madness, we're able to push through and stay strong during that amount of time, and then it ends and we get to enjoy the fruit of our labor. If we keep pushing off the goal date, then it just really discourages most people. So we're a lot less likely to succeed with this process. Like I said, you can't go too hard for too long, but I would recommend doing this for approximately 6 months to 2 years. That's my personal recommendation. But now what can also really help you to succeed in this process and with your plan is to have some visual representation of your progress that you're making in your plan and with your goals. So what I like to do for myself is just draw myself like this little tube on a piece of paper, and then I fill it in with a different color marker every time that I add some money into my savings account towards that goal. But another example of a visual representation that you can make for yourself would be a paper chain. Choose a certain amount of money that each link represents, and you can write that amount onto the links. So let's say each link represents $1,000. So then every time you save that amount into your account, you take off one ring, and it shows you as it's getting shorter that you're getting closer to your goal. If you're not making any progress, or mentally like you can't see the visual of the progress that you're making, then it's going to be harder to stay motivated, to stay on track, and to not spend that money. Either way you go, just make sure that you do something visual to help yourself continue towards that goal during the hard steps of the process. Okay, so step 5 is going to be to stick to the plan. So you need to go hard at it. This is the hard part. This is where you take your plan that you have made, your plan to cut back on your budget, your plan to work overtime and side hustles, and you stick to it. You get it done, and you get it done within the time frame that you gave yourself. Do not push the goalpost back. Because if you keep pushing the goalpost back, it just becomes this endless cycle that will literally make you sick. It's just not healthy to overwork yourself for so long. Okay, so you have your goal, you have your plan, and now you're sticking to it. Number 6 is gonna be the fun part. So step 6, we're gonna find a real estate agent that we trust. So once you're getting close to your target, that's a really good time to start talking to a real estate agent. So let's say you're within a couple of months of being ready to reach your goal of the amount of down payment that you've been saving up for. And now it's time to start talking to these professionals. So I would say definitely talk to a few different real estate agents until you find one who feels like they're being genuine and honest with you and you can trust them. You don't want them to ever make you feel belittled or like your questions are silly or stupid. Anything like that, they're gonna be kind of red flags. We want somebody that we can really trust who's gonna help us to succeed with this and to just have a flawless, seamless experience. This person should definitely want the best for you and your finances, and they should also be experienced. Don't just go to cousin Jimmy because he got his real estate license last month and you want to be nice and supportive. This is not a time for that. This is a very important step in your financial journey, and you need to make sure that you find somebody who is trustworthy and that you feel comfortable with entrusting such a big aspect and step into their hands. So step number 7 is you're going to talk to a loan officer. From there, you're going to go through the pre-qualification process. So they're going to ask you questions and figure out where your finances are at. They're going to look at the current interest rates, and they're basically going to do the calculations that we did earlier, obviously more professional. And they're going to take a look at everything, and they're going to pre-qualify you for a certain amount of mortgage loan. So step number 8 is the most fun part, in my opinion, and that is to go shopping. In this step, we're gonna go house hunting for the first time. So once your pre-qualification comes back, you'll be able to start the fun part of shopping for your first house. I've been holding myself back in this video, but I can't stress enough how important it is to follow the guidelines that I set out in my first part of this video, the do's and don'ts of buying your first house, because I just really want you guys to succeed. I don't want you to make any mistakes that are going to set you up for foreclosure or short sale or hardship. Watch that video and make sure that you avoid those pitfalls and you're taking care of yourself and you're setting yourself up for amazing success in real estate and reaping the long-term benefits of all your hard work and dedication that you've been putting into this process. All right, guys, so that is going to be it for today, but let me know in the comments what you think. And if you have any questions that you want me to cover on this topic of real estate, and if you made it to the end of this video, I just want to let you know that I'm so grateful that you would take your time to be with me. And I really, really hope that this information was helpful to you. And I wish you the best of luck and success in your real estate journey and your financial journey, building wealth. And until next time, guys, please just remember that you are loved, you're not alone, and you've got this. Okay, bye-bye.